This is the Junghans Maxbill Edition 60. It's a simple watch with a Bauhaus design philosophy and has some subtle details which drew my attention. When I was first introduced to the brand, I never really connected with it. Sure, their watches were nice and all, but being in Australia, it was difficult to find Junghans watches to look at in the flesh and try on, so I really only had promotional material and online sources to go off. When I was over in Japan, I finally had a chance to see some in person, and I immediately understood the appeal and could see why they had a cult following. Here are the dimensions and specs. It has a case diameter of 38mm, lug width of 20mm, and a lug-to-lug of 40mm. It has a thickness of 10mm, with 30 meters of water resistance and 38 hours of power reserve from its J800.1 caliber. Looking at the dial, the watch exudes minimalistic goodness, but incorporates subtle details which give the timepiece so much character. And there are a few things here which differentiate it from your usual Junghans Maxbill. As the Edition 60 name suggests, this one is a limited edition which commemorated the 60th anniversary of Maxbill's design for Junghans, so it does have some special touches. The watch has a clean white face marked with thin black elongated lines for hour markers and shorter grey lines for the minutes in between. The printing here is crisp, and the logo also shares the same crisp black print as the indices. At 3, 6 and 9, we get some variants with added lume dots, perfectly outlined and integrated into the printed hour marker itself for a very satisfying and cohesive appearance. The marker at 3 is a little shorter compared to the rest due to the date window cutout, but it still maintains a balanced look. At the 12, we find some addition of colour, orange. While orange is quite a bold choice, the thin print tones it down quite a bit, and the white dial also helps to reduce its presence. I personally love this detail, and it's a great touch to the dial, adding interest in a refined way without being over the top, and is a clear example of less is more. Just like the 3, 6 and 9 indices, the 12 also has some lume dots, but it's executed differently. Instead of being integrated into the hour marker itself, we find the numeral 60 with lume within the 6 and 0. The 60 is of course referring to the 60th anniversary, and this little change from their usual double dot at 12 is such a creative way to pay tribute to that, while maintaining the overall design language. Just like the printing on the dial, the hands are thin and sleek with a pencil-shaped construction, and to me, they act as the pillars which tie the whole watch together. The hour and minute hands are filled with an orange pigmented lume, matching nicely with the orange at 12. However, the trade-off is an inconsistent brightness between the lume plots and hands, where the hands are noticeably much dimmer than the other lume dots. The lume itself is also not the greatest. It's quite weak, and even in the dark it's not that bright, so don't rely on it. The silhouette of the seconds hand matches that of the indices, and the hands are also finished with an anthracite colour, giving them their darker appearance, which forms a connection to the matching anthracite case. Here we get a PVD coated polished case which is deceptively simple. At first, I didn't think much of it, especially when looking at the product shots, but in person, the case does a lot for the overall package and composition of the watch. It has beveled edges which emphasize and follow the shape of the crystal, creating a bubble-like effect, and head-on, it would seem like it has a thin bezel, but from what I can tell, it's essentially bezel-less. This makes the case itself appear slimmer, like the hands, and acts as a bordering element that frames and highlights the dial nicely. I find it to be a supporting component to the watch and gives way for the crystal to work its magic with its alluring distortions, giving the dial a 3D effect like it's popping out. The crown is also small, so it doesn't disrupt the minimalistic design, but it does ruin the winding experience as it makes it a little harder to turn. The position and construction of the lugs is also an important aspect of the case here, where they're slanted below the case itself, allowing straps to sit up close and tucked in beneath, eliminating the usual strap gap. This presents a seamless look from watch head to strap and allows more of the strap to be shown when on the wrist, and I have a feeling the strap it comes with is one that was intended to be shown. Fitted to the watch is a calf leather strap. On the top, we find this beige colour with a smooth finish, and being a lighter colour, It helps to highlight the casual side of the watch, and its neutral tone brightens up the whole package. On the underside is a bright orange lining, matching the orange on the dial, and while it may seem like a lot of orange, not much of it will be shown, since it will be against the wrist. You may see a small amount of it at certain angles and on the tip of the strap, but I like this detail as it ties in with the orange at 12 and hands. My favorite part about this strap is neither the top or the bottom though, it's the sides. The strap has relatively thick black edges which complements the case extremely well, forming a black border or outline around the whole watch, creating this cartoon-like appearance with a very contemporary feel. It's evident a lot of thought went into the watch, not just into individual components and elements, but into the timepiece as a complete unit. The strap has a traditional tang buckle setup with a slim profile and has the same matching anthracite colouring and polishing just like the case and etched with Junghans script. On the wrist, the watch is very comfortable. The strap didn't really require any breaking in period and wraps around effortlessly. The side and lining details of the strap can also be seen, given the variety of angles your wrist will be in, and again, the way the strap attaches to the case allows more of it to show, as it begins earlier from the watch head. This also makes the watch a fantastic choice for smaller wrists due to its short lug-to-lug and compact construction. The watch is lightweight and thin enough to slide under the cuff, eased by its beveled case edges, and just presents a pleasant wearing experience in general. For the movement, we're getting what Junghans calls a J800.1 caliber, but it's practically an ETA 2824, which will be a reliable movement and cost-effective when it comes to servicing. It might not be the fanciest, but it's one that's tried and tested, so we know what to expect. Overall, the Junghans Maxbill Edition 60 is a great watch. It does a fantastic job at being a minimalistic timepiece, but has some special touches which make it interesting and different from other Maxbills. It's an elegant yet fun watch to own, and it really surprised me. It can be easily dressed up with a black strap, and the Maxbill in general is a watch I highly recommend you see in person if you're interested in one, purely because of the way the crystal and case complement each other. It's truly a sight to behold, and it's more than just a plain circular watch, and trust me, the product shots don't show off its true beauty. Let me know your thoughts on the watch in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.